Hello class. For my research paper in PowerPoint, I did the development and structure/stability of the pyramids in Egypt. First, I'm going to talk about the mastaba. The mastaba is the standard tomb of early Egypt, shaped like a normal home. It is a rectangular brick structure that is sloped at its sides and was directly over an underground tomb. It is the original template of the pyramid. However, mastabas were for the general population, whereas the pyramids were meant for important leaders such as the kings, queens, and other political leaders. As you can see in the picture, the mastaba has four key elements: the chapel, false door, tomb, and a statue of the deceased. Next, I'm going to talk about Imhotep and Djoser's stepped pyramid. The first improvement seen on the mastaba was Imhotep and Djoser's step pyramid. Imhotep was the master builder for King Djoser, and he ultimately built Egypt's first stone structure and the earliest known stone column in the history of architecture. This is extremely interesting because Egypt, who didn't have any technology whatsoever, was able to build the first known stone column in the history of mankind. Although in comparison to the Great Pyramids, the step pyramid is still quite small and not really even though about nowadays. The design first began as a mastaba, but due to the Egyptians enlarging it twice to fit more rooms, it led to the idea of stacked mastabas, which led to this step pyramid. It featured hundreds of rooms, which was designed like a palace to be the final resting place for a king or pharaoh. The Egyptians believed that in the afterlife, the pharaoh's spirit is still alive and lives, so they added objects to make their life comfortable, and even made them tombs in similar designs to their palace so it feels like home. The picture shown is that very stepped pyramid that was the first known to mankind. Next is the Great Pyramids of Giza. The Great Pyramids, one of the 8 wonders of the world, were constructed over a 75-year period for the pharaohs Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. Khufu's was the largest, Khafre's was the second largest, and Menkaure's is the smallest. Scientists still question how these pyramids were built, as no one can figure it out. However, there is the idea that they cut the stone out, had it transported to the side of the pyramids, had it cut more into shape there, and used ramps assembled around the pyramid to get it all the way up to the top. The part that is in question is how they were able to successfully put up these stones into a pyramid shape around a tomb and tunnels. While these pyramids were mainly used as a burial chamber for the pharaohs, they are representative of the Heliopolis, which was a center for sun worship. These 3 pyramids resembled the sun as they were made for the burial and afterlife for these pharaohs. Just like the sun rises and sets, so do these pharaohs' spirits. As I have said previously, it was believed that these pharaohs were believed to die physically, but then revive spiritually and would stay alive in their underground palace. In the picture on the left, you can see the Sphinx, which is said to be a representation of King Khafre, but it is supposed to be a guardian of the 3 Great Pyramids. And here's another layout of the structure of the Pyramid of Giza. In modern culture, the Sphinx and the Great Pyramids are modeled in Las Vegas, with the Luxor Casino/Hotel being that representation. Lastly, I'm going to talk about tomb structure. It is interesting how they were able to build these pyramids and have tombs within it, yet still keep it stable enough for thousands of years without there being any destruction other than some weathering. There were 3 chambers, one underground, one for the queen, and one for the king, with corridors all throughout to connect these 3 chambers, and even false corridors to get thieves turned around. Thieves were common within tombs, so these false tunnels tricked the thieves into thinking they were going the right direction when in reality they were walking into a dead end, kind of like booby traps. The corridors are 8.6 meters high, 46.7 meters long, and 2.1 meters wide. Scientists in the years 1990 to 2010 used robots to map out the tombs, yet are still unsure about the rest of the infrastructure as no one has ever been inside. I think it is interesting how over the thousands of years, no one has been inside to properly identify the structure within to be able to tell how these great pyramids were built. In the picture, you can see how archaeologists and scientists believed how the pyramid was structured inside with the chambers, tunnels, and thieves' tunnels. In conclusion, no other society has ever produced something as great as the Great Pyramids, which is why it is one of the 8 wonders of the world. The biggest question regarding these pyramids is how long these pyramids will stay standing. Since 2011, tourism has been on a constant decline since the question of stability has arisen. Through the rest of time, the Great Pyramids of Giza will forever be the world's most curious structure. Thank you for listening.